Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm about to tell you a story that still doesn't feel real to me, because today I drove what might just be the greatest hypercar in the world. Not the fastest on paper, not the rarest for collectors, not the most expensive on auction blocks. No. I'm talking about something far more special. A machine that mixes engineering perfection, emotional drama, and a driving experience so intense that it actually leaves you shaking afterwards. And the crazy part: when I got behind the wheel, I realized instantly that everything I thought I knew about hypercars was wrong. You see, most people think hypercars are all about performance numbers, 0 to 60 times, horsepower figures, top speeds that no one can actually reach in real life. But the moment this hypercar woke up, yes, that's the first word that comes to mind, woke up, I understood something. The greatest hypercar isn't the one with the biggest engine or the wildest look. It's the one that makes you feel alive, connected, and honestly a little bit terrified in the best possible way. Let me take you back to the beginning of this day, because the whole experience felt like a movie. The morning was quiet, the weather was perfect for driving, and I was nervous. Not because I thought I'd mess something up, but because the responsibility of taking control of a machine worth more than most people will earn in their lifetime hits differently. When you know you're about to handle something built in such limited numbers that most people will only ever see it on posters, trust me, your hands start to shake before you even touch the key. I approached the car slowly. Its body looked like something sculpted by the wind itself. Every curve shaped with purpose, every surface designed to slice through the air. You don't walk up to a hypercar like this, you approach it with respect. From the front, it looks like it's staring at you, like it's deciding whether you're worthy enough to drive it. And when the doors opened, those dramatic dihedral wings lifting up, it felt like the car was inviting me into its world. The interior was something else entirely. You expect luxury, you expect expensive materials, but what I saw was closer to a fighter jet cockpit than a car. Carbon fiber everywhere, controls that felt mechanical and precise, seats molded in a way that tell you one thing: this car is built for speed, but it was also built for a driver who understands what they're doing. No unnecessary buttons, no pointless decorations. Just pure functionality with a touch of craftsmanship. I lowered myself into the driver's seat, and immediately the entire atmosphere around me changed. This wasn't a car anymore. It was a machine that demanded your attention. The steering wheel felt alive in my hands. The carbon bucket seat hugged my body tightly. And then came the moment that I still replay in my mind: starting the engine. The sound this hypercar makes is nothing like what you'd expect from a normal engine. It didn't start, it exploded. A deep, violent growl came from behind me, and the whole car vibrated as if it was impatient, like it wanted to be driven properly. I honestly had goosebumps, because at that moment you realize you're sitting inside something engineered not just to go fast, but to create an experience. Pulling out onto the road, the first thing I noticed was how unbelievably responsive everything was. The throttle wasn't sensitive, it was instant. Just a tiny touch and the car lunges forward. The brakes weren't strong. They were razor sharp. The steering wasn't precise. It was surgical. Every tiny input from my hands, feet, or fingers was amplified. It felt like the car and I were connected on a level I've never felt before, like it was reading my thoughts before I even acted on them. And then came the first proper acceleration. I found a quiet stretch of road, checked the surroundings twice, maybe 3 times, because the last thing you want when you're holding this kind of power is to make a mistake. I pressed the accelerator, not even all the way, 60% maybe. And I swear the world blurred. The sound went from a growl to a violent scream. The G-force pushed me so hard into the seat that my vision actually tightened for a moment, and I couldn't help but laugh. not because it was funny, but because the sensation was so overwhelming I didn't know what else to do. Most fast cars impress you. This one shocked me. The acceleration didn't feel like a car moving quickly. It felt like being launched. No traction issues, no hesitation, no wheel spin. Just pure, brutal forward motion. This is the kind of speed that genuinely forces you to recalibrate your brain. And yet, despite all this power, the car never felt dangerous. It felt alive, yes, but never out of control. The engineering behind its stability, its aerodynamics, its traction systems. Everything worked in perfect harmony. It wasn't trying to kill me, but it wasn't going to babysit me either. It demanded respect. I brought the car into a series of corners next, because a hypercar isn't great if it only goes fast in a straight line. This is where I understood why this machine is on another level. As I turned in, the car stayed absolutely flat. There was no body roll, no hesitation. It felt glued to the road. The grip levels were almost unbelievable. I pushed harder, and still, the car asked for more. Most cars eventually tell you, okay, that's enough now. This one never said it. The steering was the best I've ever felt in any car. Every pebble, every small change in the tarmac, every tiny adjustment. I could feel it instantly. It wasn't numb or artificially heavy. It was pure, old-school feeling with modern-day performance. And then, when I exited the corner and put the power down again, that engine roared so violently that I felt it deep in my chest. You don't just hear it, you feel it. That's when I realized something important. The greatest hypercar is not the one with the highest top speed. It's the one that makes every single second behind the wheel unforgettable. There were multiple moments during this drive when I just slowed down, not because the car needed a break, but because I needed a break. It's so intense, so involving, so overwhelmingly powerful that your mind genuinely gets tired. The car never stops demanding your full focus, and that, ironically, is what makes it so special. Later, I found a more open road, and this is where I experienced something I'll never forget. I switched the car into its most aggressive drive mode, the one the engineers created for maximum attack. The suspension stiffened, the engine note changed, the exhaust valves opened wider, and the whole car transformed. It felt like waking a sleeping beast. I launched it again, this time harder, and the violence of the acceleration is impossible to explain in words. The scenery turned into colors, not shapes. The car felt like it was trying to outrun the air itself. I've driven fast cars before, but nothing prepared me for this. It wasn't speed anymore. It was flight, just a few inches above the ground. Even the brakes were mind-blowing. From high speeds, the car came to a stop so quickly that my body nearly folded forward. Carbon, ceramic discs glowing, tires gripping like claws, and the car stopping perfectly straight. It felt like being pulled back in time. At one point, I parked the car, stepped out, and just looked at it for a minute. I needed to process what I had just experienced. The sun was hitting the carbon bodywork, showing its texture, and all I could think was, someone built this. Someone engineered this. Someone imagined a machine that bends the laws of physics, and then actually made it real. That's when the emotional part hit me. Driving a hypercar isn't about speed. It's about connection. It's about respect for the engineering, the craftsmanship, the passion that goes into creating something this insane. It's about feeling privileged to experience something only a handful of people in the world ever will. I got back inside and continued the drive, but now with a calmer mindset. I started appreciating the smaller details. The way the gearbox clicks through each shift like a precision instrument, the smell of high-performance materials, the vibrations from the engine at idle, the way the wind sounds different when you're in a car shaped like a missile. And then there's the attention this car gets. Everywhere I went, people stared, phones came out, kids pointed, drivers slowed down just to look. This hypercar isn't just a machine, it's a magnet. It makes people react. It makes random strangers smile. It makes everyone instantly curious. And that's when you understand the influence these cars have beyond just performance. Eventually, the drive had to end. I pulled up to the garage, put the car in neutral, and let it idle for a moment. The engine, still hot, crackled and popped behind me. I turned it off, and the sudden silence felt strange, almost empty, like the world got quieter than it should be. Stepping out of the car, I felt a weird mix of emotions. Excitement, disbelief, gratitude, and honestly, a bit of sadness. Because experiences like this don't happen every day. You don't just jump into the greatest hypercar in the world whenever you feel like it. It's a once-in-a-lifetime moment, and I had just lived it. But here's the truth. The greatest hypercar isn't the one with the biggest number. It's the one that creates the biggest memory. This machine did exactly that. It showed me what engineering perfection feels like. It reminded me that cars are more than transport. They're passion, imagination, and dreams on four wheels. And it proved to me that no matter how many cars I review, how many engines I hear, or how many miles I drive, there are some machines that simply exist on another level, and this one sits at the top. Today, I didn't just drive a hypercar, I drove the world's greatest hypercar, and I'll never forget it.